DJ Tim Space King said Ja Rule's first album is my favorite. All right.
Nitty
Yeah, I
Gritty
mean,
Geechee?
look, I rock with the first album. I think that a lot of people did, but what I will say about the second album and the third album, he carved his own niche, and I think that with the first album, he was in DMX's shadow, and obviously he was already associated in that way, but just the way that DMX approaches his rhymes, Ja approached them in a similar way on that first album. And I just remember when, that album came out, we loved Holla Holla. We were like, man, he kind of like a miniature X. And he had, Drag
Look,
On out there.
and he did 1.3 still.
Yeah. Holla Holla was
So it's
big.
yeah, like so it's not like it did bad.
But he
It
wasn't
just
Mr. 106 in Park. Because if you take Bow Wow away, Ja Rule ran 106 in Park.
yeah. I mean, he still really. I mean, like he actually really ran 106 in part because he was respected as an MC. You know what I'm saying? In a way that Bow Wow wasn't. Just all respect due. You know what I'm saying?
He had the
But
hits, though. You know what I mean? Like, Put It On Me, again, it's another one of them songs. I remember when it was on the radio, I was like, I don't think I've heard a song played this many times. Once again, another Ja Rule record.
you want to hear a quick story?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I met him when his first album came out. Him and Bleak were on tour together. They came to Manifest in Charlotte. I told you I met everybody. I told you I've been doing this since I was a teenager. So they pop up. I told you I'm the hip hop guy. So every time somebody's coming in, I'm working because I'm the one that has to deal with them, walk them around, all that. I've been doing this since I was young. That's how I know who they are. Like, because I dealt with them as a young man, and it's like when you're the guy working in the record store, Mike, when you're the young kid working in the record store, you know what I'm saying? They don't know who you are. They don't give a fuck who you are. And so you get to see who they really are. Like Lil C's came in a couple weeks later, about the coolest motherfucker I ever met. You know what I'm saying? But so me and my man Wayne, Ja Rule and Memphis Bleeker at back in the signing area. People are coming in to do the signing. They're performing at like the Charlotte's version of Summer Jam. And my man Wayne's like, because we're rhyming by now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Wayne's like, hey, y'all want to go to the back and blow one in Cypher? You know what I'm saying? Ja Rule is like, I can't for my voice. I got to keep my voice right for the show. He literally told us this and pointed to his voice. He's like, yeah, he's like, I've been drinking. He told us this. He's like, I've been drinking tea all morning. Make sure my voice right for the show. I can't do it. We went to the show. He had an 8-minute set. Now, here was the other part of the story. Bleak was ready to go, but Bleak wasn't popping even like Ja Rule was. None of the team moved until Ja Rule was ready to go. And I remember Bleak catching an attitude because of that. Because by the time he pulled up, he was platinum. So it was a platinum artist coming in the building.
Mm.
Right. So he pulled the whole my voice and the whole T thing. And Bleak was like, yo, I'm ready to go. Niggas was still like asking me like, and here's what's funny. I didn't realize this. You have to understand. It was like, this is the late 90s. So it's still like wartime. So Cats is literally asking me like, how's Machiavelli? Like, how's the Machiavelli? Like, he still hadn't heard it.
Mm.
These are New York dudes, you know what I'm saying? So they not listening to certain stuff. They like, yo, what's that? How's that? Like not Bleak and Ja Rule because they know everything, but the niggas they with, the team,
They
like, yo, who
still
this?
didn't listen to Pac, huh?
Right, no.
Like
I remember Ja
2,
Rule
3
picking
years
up
later.
another copy of Machiavelli and niggas looking at him. He's like, nah, I need this.
Mm.
So
with the
he was
super
a Pac
chat.
fan too because he bought a copy of Machiavelli while he was at Manifest.
Oh, wow. DeCarlo with the super chat says, do y'all think hip hop was better when it had groups? Yes.
Yes. Oh, you want to know what happened? Lil C's came in. That's how I got plugged to the Quiet Storm remix. But Ja Rule and Bleak was clowning Lil C's album cover.
That album
and my
cover
man
was
Wayne
crazy.
and my man, listen. Wayne told C's, and C's had Ja Rule's album in his hand and literally flung the shit from like through the store when Wayne told him. Because you remember the cover?
Yeah.
Where he was like,
yeah.
Right. So Bleak and the crew and Ja Rule and them was clowning, and Wayne, because they didn't cipher with us. The next week when C's came in, Wayne was like, yo, them niggas was clowning your album cover when they was in here last week. He took Ja Rule's CD and he flung it. I was like, nigga, why'd you say that to him?
Jay Shore with the super chat says, Deck or Thought? Be honest, Mike. I got to go with Thought. And I love Deck.
Let's thought. Yeah.
J Dub with the super chat says, you guys have spoken on it before. Hard for one MC to carry an album. That's why groups have a better chance of making a classic, in my opinion. Yes. And see, and I think when we talk about, giving credence to the groups and all of that, that's exactly why we say that we can't give Outkast his whole legacy to Andre 3000 as an individual. It's not fair. Groups have all kinds of input. We can't treat Andre like he is his own entity. We can for his stuff, but not for the Outkast stuff. It's just not fair. Let's see. Do I got all the super chats? Go ahead.
It's really... Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just seeing if I got all the super chats.
Really giving me some real thought to the fact that it's like we might need to separate the album list by group and by solo artists. That changes things. Like, think about it. It's like, and then we need to parse out, well, what is a group? Because what does that do for Eric B and Rakim? You know?
What does that do for the Roots?
What does that do for Gangstar? Like, I was thinking about Gangstar.
But Gangstar,
I was listening to Moment of Truth today, and it's like, well, and you know how I feel, Mike. There are very, 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 very few rap albums that I think are classic that have more than 15 actual songs. Like, damn all the skits and interludes and all that. I'm talking about 15 songs. That is a classic rap album with well over 15 songs. And I was going through trying to find the song that wasn't good today. And I think, like, I found one out of, like, 19. And I was just like, you want to know what? This is probably better than It's Dark and Hell is Hot and Reasonable Doubt when I listen to it. Like, when I listen to it now, and it's like, this is what I mean about the personality and the charisma and the voice of hip hop and the ethos mattering so much, because it's like, when I was listening to the beats and the rhymes, even the stuff that Guru's saying on Royalty, it's like, man, there is nothing motivational, aspirational, or uplifting, which is part of what hip hop was built to be. It's meant to take the angst and uplift. That's not on Reasonable Doubt or It's Dark and Hell is Hot. And I love both of those albums from beginning to end. But it's like, I was thinking to myself, were the beats better beginning to end on It's Dark and Hell is Hot or Reasonable Doubt like they are the Moment of Truth? It's like, no. And it's like, well, are the rhymes? It's like, well, yeah, because it's the artist. And that's where the MC kind of runs things now.
Well, I think for As Dark as Hell and Hell is Hot, that's an album that has so much personality. And I think that's an album that kind of it was groundbreaking for its time in the sense where it literally changed the game. It's a game changer. And it's a game changer in the sense where it didn't do anything to conform on a mainstream level to actually take over. You know what I mean? I think there's a part on that Murder Inc. documentary where Irv is telling everybody that, DMX is going to do 5-6 million or whatever. And Jay-Z's like, how? And he's like, no disrespect. It's just how? And it just lets you know, just based on how Jay-Z saw what could sell records, he thought his mentality was, I'm going to do what's going on to sell the records. Going against the grain's not going to sell you records. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's just the way he thought in his creative process. He's a visionary in certain ways, but breaking the mold is not his thing. And we'll get to that in a second. We talk about what Dame said. But I think that's where that comes from. And I got to give DMX a lot of credit for sticking to his guns and not only, telling his whole story, but actually changing the game for that time period at the same time.
No, he threw... I didn't meet my pops till I was 19, but he used to see me when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? And my mother used to, like, clean me up and, like, super clean me up. And he is like, I used to just want to, like, throw you in the mud, is what he used to say. And that's what kind of DMX did to the game. It's like he took the game and he was like, no, this is the streets. We're getting in the mud.
Yeah.
And he threw everybody in the mud and forced them to get their hands dirty again. It's like, no, fuck that clean, pretty. No. We're not getting any manicures on planes, Jay. We're going back to the block. There's no more manicures on planes like on Imaginary Player, Jay. Going back to the streets. You know?
To answer your question from before, though, I think what's fair is we can actually put the groups that have one MC, one primary MC, and an individual category. And that
That's
goes
fine.
for the Gang Stars, that goes for the Public Enemies, that goes for the Roots, things like that. Now, as far as Eric B. and Rakim, I think that when it comes to those DJ and MC combinations, I think that we might need to do it in a way where it's like, how much of the production did the DJ add to the product? Is that fair?
I don't know how to relate that, because it's like when I listened to Moment of Truth today, and this is what I mean. And I listened to Moment of Truth. Like, I heard the John Wall comment like first thing this morning, like early. I don't even know if it was 8 o'clock yet. And I was listening to Moment of Truth this afternoon, and I was thinking about the mental health aspect of it. And I was like, man, Moment of Truth was getting me through a rough moment of my life. Like, Guru's words were inspiring on that album. You know what I mean? Even the song titles, You Know My Steez, Work, Royalty, Above the Clouds. You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful.
What I'm Here For, Make Them Pay, Betrayal. No, I was feeling it. It was getting me through something. That's part of what makes music so powerful. That's what made DMX so powerful.
Exactly. I was going to go there too.
That's why everybody loves X, including me. That's what I mean. Like, those albums, like those two albums, they got me through that year.
Yeah.
Like, mentally. Because it's like I understood where they were coming from both sides. When DMX was like doing the back and forth on Stop Being Greedy, like the light side of him and the dark side of him is like, no, I get it. It's really inside every man.
Yeah.
He's just being honest about it.
Inspector with the super chat says, from Columbia, Manifest was the best record store.
Oh, you've been to the Columbia store? Columbia store was the original store. That's the store. I want to say I met LL at that store. It was either Florence or Columbia. My memory ain't perfect. I was fucking 15, 16 years old.
Deontay Smith 15, with the super
16,
chat.
16, 17, yeah.
Deontay Smith said, with the super chat says, would you guys be excited for a new solo Andre album or an Outkast project? I'm going to say Outkast. Yeah.
Outkast.
Because we're never going to get an Andre solo rap album. So, yeah, I know with an Outkast album, we're going to get a rap album. And I think if an Andre album were to come to light, we're going to get, I don't want to say a Love Below, but we're definitely not going to get anything of that quality. We're going to get something around that. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on one second. DJ All Day, I know that Manifest that's in Charlotte, I opened that store. The one that's on South Boulevard, yeah, I opened that Manifest. I was the opening hip-hop guy.
Nice.
I opened the store. I was the night closing manager of the Subway 2 doors down, and when I saw a fucking record store was opening, I was like, perfect. Because we lived in the neighborhood right next to it. It's just like this little Mexican project that like you couldn't even see from the street. And so I needed somewhere where I could like walk to work and make money and also feed my family because we were broke and we were poor. So I took the job at Subway, which was minimum wage. Manifest paid me more, and they obviously put me around my first love. So it was like I literally went 2 doors down the Manifest and I opened that store.
Nice.
Me and my mom used to have Pac-Man battles at the laundromat at the corner of that plaza and go get some Little Caesars, and me and my mom would have Pac-Man battles, and she would whoop my ass in Pac-Man.
Memories. Mad Max with the super chat says, can't let Coop get away with that. DMX album was transformative. It was. Game changer.
No, I said both. It said both. It's just like when I listened to The Moment of Truth today, I'm thinking like, man, like, Mike, it's going to be hard to find an East Coast rap album that has like better beats than that album from beginning to end, because it's like 19 deep, Mike. It's 19 deep.
But that's my thing. It's like, Premier is Premier, and I don't think that's fair to call Eric B. and Rakim a group in the same way. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. Gang Starr and Eric B. and Rakim are different to me because Primo's contribution to that group is totally different than Eric B's to me.
Yeah, and it's like they're more in line with more of a Pete Rock and CL Smooth. So maybe it's another category. You got the Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Eric B. and Rakim, Cool G Rap and DJ Polo. Those things are one thing, right? And then you got the one-man groups. And I don't want to say the one-man groups. The groups with one MC, one primary MC. And I would more so put Gang Starr in the Roots category. Is that fair? In the
No,
Public
that's
Enemy
how. That's
category.
how. That no. Even though because of how the pairing and the duo is built, it feels like it should obviously belong in the Polo G Rap and Eric B and Rakim, and it was probably built in that vein. I mean, Primo moved from Texas to New York in the late '80s, got up with Guru, I believe, and they formed Gang Starr like '88, '89.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably definitely like DJ Polo and Cool G Rap inspired and Eric B and Rakim inspired, but it's something different, man.
Eric Terrell with the super chat says, "Coop, who is Tretch's NBA counterpart? Because Naughty was hot as fire in the early '90s. Yeah, who would you correlate Tretch to as an NBA player?"
Tim Hardaway before the injury, the UTEP two-step, the killer crossover, the guy that was literally starting over Magic Johnson in the Western Conference All-Star game and seeded it to him because of the thing. Yeah, that guy.
You know, I was thinking
Tim Hardaway, exciting. UTEP two-step. You remember that killer crossover, the first killer crossover?
I was thinking like a Mitch Richmond. I'm with the Tim Hardaway thing. Baron Davis. Baron Davis was a beast.
But I'm thinking the same time frame too, because like Tretch and Tim Hardaway, that's the same year. That's the same time frame. That's that 89, 90, 90, 91, 92, 93. Like Tim Hardaway was a top 10-ish player around that time and the top 5 point guard.
I love it, man. We just kicking the shit here. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Super late here. Did Sex Packet make the top 100? I don't think it did. It should, maybe. I need to go back and listen to Sex Packet. They were a brilliant group.
I'm not even gonna lie. I haven't listened to Sex Packets probably since Shock G passed.
R.I.P. Shock G.